Hey, it's Alex here. So I'm here with Miles, and we're just going to have a chat about life here in Estepona. So tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in Spain, and where are you from originally?
So I hail from Tunbridge Wells in Kent, and I moved to Estepona about 18 months ago. I knew the area very well. I'd had a holiday home close by for many years, so decided to make the move.
Great. Why did you decide to move here?
The obvious: sun, the lifestyle, very relaxed environment. Wanted to get away from the UK. Very negative place to be living right now. Not a lot really going for it, and clearly the weather is a lot better here.
Yeah. And why Estepona? Why this area of Spain?
To be honest, I think it's like the jewel of the crown. It's a proper town with proper Spanish people, where you need to learn the language if you really want to make friends. It's not just boozy Brits, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of booze, of course, and there's a lot of options, but it's a proper town with nice people. It's a very beautiful place, and it's very safe.
Yeah. So when you first arrived in Spain, what was the thing that surprised you the most?
I guess one thing that surprised me is trying to get anything done is pretty difficult. People here seem to live a life that once they have enough money to enjoy themselves, they kind of go to the beach, you know?
Yeah.
So when you're trying to get work done on your home, for example, people come and they start a job and then disappear, and it all drags out a lot longer than I thought it would do, so it can be quite frustrating.
Yeah. Okay, and what was the biggest culture shock in terms of Spanish life?
Getting used to the sort of ability to drink every day.
Yeah.
It's very easy here to get sucked into going out every day and having a few beers, and obviously it takes its toll on you. I like to keep relatively healthy. So after the first year, I took a decision not to drink during the week. And I don't always fulfil that wish, but I definitely control that.
Yeah. What about other parts of Spanish culture, like, I don't know, eating out late or eating dinner late, siesta, all the different festivals, any of that?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, the Spanish love a fiesta. I used to go out like I would in England at 8 o'clock in the evening and wonder why it was so quiet. And by the time I'd had a few beers and was on my way home, I'd be seeing people coming out dressed up for their evening.
Yeah, for dinner. Yeah.
So I've started to get used to that, and also the siestas. You know, it's nice once you get into the habit. I don't do it all year, but in the summer definitely it's nice to have a snooze.
And you just get used to things being closed in the afternoon, right? You don't do much in the afternoon.
That was a real shock. You know, I used to drive into town and go to buy things, and the shops were shut, and I'd be like, what's going on? It's not Sunday, or but once you get used to that, it's actually quite nice. Nice thing.
Have a little chill out in the afternoon. On all those things, was there anything that was particularly hard to get used to, apart from not drinking? Anything else that you?
No, not really. Not really. I've adapted pretty well. I think as someone moving to Spain on my own and being a male, it was quite difficult to meet people. I'm learning Spanish because I want Spanish friends as well as English friends. But it's not as easy as you might think to embed into an environment. So you have to be patient.
Yeah. So what do you love most about living in Spain?
I love the atmosphere, I love the sun, I feel like I'm on holiday every day. I'm lucky I'm retired, so I fill my day with, walks on the beach, the gym, some sunbathing, various sporting hobbies. Here is great. Estepona, you've got Tarifa an hour away when you want the best, where they've got amazing beaches, and for me as a kite surfer, it's great. But also I can kite surf in Estepona, and then you've got Marbella if you want a bit more glitz and glam. I don't go into Marbella very often, and if I do, it's generally the old town rather than Port Banús. But it's just a great place and very easy to settle.
Yeah. Is it always windy in Tarifa?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
So what do you think Spain does better than the UK?
I think the environment here is much more about living your life for enjoyment and not just chasing the buck.
Yeah.
You know, in the UK, everyone works super hard for their money, and you know, people are generally paid better in the UK than they are here. But you know, at the end of the day, the UK doesn't have the weather, and the sun does tend to make you want to relax a little bit. So you know, there's definitely a culture difference.
More focus on just enjoying life
100%.
rather than just working all the time.
100%.
But what do you think the UK does better than Spain?
Commercial.
Yeah.
You know, businesses in the UK are run by very driven people generally. Their aim is to make money. They're very commercial. They're chasing the pound constantly. Whereas here, some of the businesses, like you say, they shut at certain times that seem strange. They're very slow to respond to you.
Customer service can be quite hard work.
It's terrible. At times it can be terrible.
Yeah, it can. So how has your lifestyle changed since moving here? Obviously, it sounds like you've just become more relaxed, more chilled. You're obviously now retired.
Yeah, it's
focus more on life and health and...
Yeah, I'd say my lifestyle is healthier here because, you know, I am in the sun. I hated the UK weather. Being in the sun, it encourages you to walk more, you get out more. Your diet changes a bit. The Mediterranean diet 100% has helped me. You know, I only cook with olive oil. It's a lot cheaper here than it is perhaps in the UK. You know, I'm eating a lot more salad and vegetables because you can buy beautiful product here that maybe in the UK it's much more restricted.
Yeah.
And generally I eat a lot more seafood than I ever did in the UK, and it's amazing. It's not expensive, so you know that's been a major change.
Okay, so have you ever thought about moving back?
No.
No. And what do you think is the biggest mistake that a lot of expats make when they move to Spain? Because obviously you know a few, you've probably seen a few people maybe make a few mistakes.
I think one of the biggest mistakes is drinking too much. It's very easy. A lot of people come here thinking their money's going to last a long time, and then they go out and live like they're on holiday for the first year or two, and you see them change their car from a nice British or German car to something not quite so desirable because you know that they're running out of money fast and they realise. So you know that's definitely something that affects people.
Do you think it's important to learn Spanish?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you want to live somewhere and not understand what people are saying about you?
Exactly. It's something that British people always moan about with immigrants. They come into our country, they don't learn the culture, they don't learn the language, and then a lot of people do exactly the same thing when they move abroad, don't they? So.
Yeah, I have that discussion a lot with the Spanish because I speak more Spanish than a lot of the English people that have lived here for 20 years. But the reality is it's quite a hard language to learn. You have to knuckle down and get on with it, but it does open a lot of doors once you can speak to them in their own language. They're a lot more receptive to you and they respect you. And I think since Brexit, that's become even more important.
Yeah, for sure. So just back on the money, do you think Spain is more expensive than the UK?
I don't think so. But one thing that you know I found out is that the taxes here are very high. You know, I believe that they're higher here than in the UK. Certainly, if you've got a bit of money, the Spanish want to tax you on everything that you have.
Yeah, they do want a bit of that money, but day-to-day stuff like eating out, getting a beer, maybe food at the supermarket, I think is well, especially eating out, is definitely cheaper, isn't it?
Definitely.
All right, so let's end with a couple of last questions. So if someone is thinking about moving out to Spain, do you think they should?
100%.
Yeah, if they've got
just
any
not
doubts.
in Estepona. We don't want it to become like England.
Yeah. And overall, you'd say that moving to Spain has improved your life?
Yeah, definitely. Best decision I've made.
And here's one last big question. Do you think Spain has changed who you are as a person?
I think it's made me more relaxed. I'm certainly happier. You know, being in the seeing blue skies nearly every day, even after a tough winter. You know, the sun does shine, and even on days where it rains, you generally get a couple of hours where you can get out and get some fresh air in the sun. So it's wonderful.
Okay, I have actually got a few quick fire. Let's just do it. So just one word answers. Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Tapas or Sunday roast?
Tapas.
Spanish wine or British beer?
Spanish wine.
Summer or winter in Spain?
Summer.
And one word that describes life in Spain?
Wonderful.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Miles. It's been really good.
Thank you, Alex.